Zeus didn't lose. He ran. Not from an army. Not from another god. From something so powerful. It took his throne. And the craziest part? The same people who worshipped Zeus wrote this story down themselves. So what could make the king of gods run? And why would they admit it existed? You're not ready for what it looked like. But before we get there, understand what was actually at stake. This was not just a battle. This was the closest Greek mythology ever came to ending completely. There is a version of this story where Zeus never gets back up, where the gods never return to Olympus, where that mountain stays empty, forever. The only reason that didn't happen came down to one desperate move, made at the absolute last second, by two gods nobody expected. I will show you exactly what that was. But first, we need to go back to the one force in all of creation that Zeus never should have pushed. To understand what happened, you need to understand Gaia, not the peaceful earth goddess people imagine, not the patient, nurturing mother of nature you read about in textbooks. The original Gaia, the force that existed before anything else had a name, before the gods, before the Titans, before light knew what it was. Gaia simply existed, and everything came from her. The sky, the mountains, the sea, the Titans, Cronus, Zeus himself. So when Zeus overthrew the Titans, when he imprisoned her children in the deepest pit in existence, he wasn't just ending a war. He was making an error he didn't know he was making. Because Gaia doesn't accept loss, she responds to it. First, she created the giants. Enormous primordial warriors built for one purpose: destroy the Olympians. The gods won. So Gaia reached deeper, past the giants, past everything she had made before. She wanted Tartarus himself, not the place, the being, the primordial void at the absolute bottom of creation. And from that union, she made something she had been saving, something she had never needed until now. Not a weapon of destruction, a weapon of replacement. And the moment it opened its eyes, the world changed. Stop. Whatever you are imagining right now, it is not close to big enough. This thing didn't tower over mountains. It made them irrelevant. Its upper body stretched beyond the sky, not into the clouds, into the stars themselves. Below the waist, nothing human, just coils. Endless serpent coils shifting like continents moving beneath the ocean floor. From its shoulders, not one head, not 10, 100, each one alive, each one speaking. Some roared like lions, some bellowed like bulls, some hissed in frequencies that fractured solid stone, and some spoke in a human voice, a voice that sounded almost like prayer, before it dissolved into something the air itself recoiled from. Its eyes didn't reflect light. They produced a dark fire that burned without heat, a glow that made everything around it feel darker. But here is the detail that broke the gods completely. It was not the size. It was not the sound. It was the intelligence behind it. This was not a beast driven by hunger. This was not mindless destruction. It knew exactly what it was doing. It was not coming to burn Olympus. It was coming to own it. When it turned its 100 heads toward that mountain, the gods did not assemble. They did not strategize. They looked at what was coming, and they ran. That creature had a name, but names come later. First, it was just fear. What happened next is recorded in the ancient texts almost reluctantly, because it is genuinely uncomfortable for any religion built on powerful, heroic gods. The gods broke. Instantly. Completely. They transformed into animals and fled to Egypt. Aphrodite became a fish and dove beneath the Nile. Ares, the god of war, became a boar. Artemis became a cat. Apollo became a crow. Hermes became an ibis. And Zeus, the supreme ruler of sky and thunder and fate itself, became a ram and ran. Not strategy, not a calculated retreat. Fear. Real, complete, unmanageable fear. And while they ran, that creature walked up the empty mountain, unopposed, past the halls where gods had stood moments before, past altars still burning with offerings from mortals below, mortals who had no idea what was happening above them. And it sat down on Zeus's throne and looked out at a universe with no one left to protect it. That creature was Typhon. And what happens next is the most humiliating sequence in the entire history of Greek mythology. Zeus came back. Whether it was courage or shame, the ancient texts don't say. But he descended from the Egyptian desert armed with lightning bolts and a divine sickle. And he went for Typhon directly. For a moment, it looked like he was winning. Lightning struck across all 100 heads. The monster staggered, The earth convulsed. The sea boiled. The sky split open. And then Typhon grabbed him. What happened next has never happened before or since in all of Greek mythology. Typhon didn't kill Zeus. He dismantled him. He reached into Zeus's hands, into his feet, and he removed the tendons, the sinews that gave the king of the gods the ability to move. He pulled them out carefully, deliberately, the way you take apart something you plan to keep. Then he left Zeus on the ground, paralyzed, alive, completely destroyed. The lightning bolts lay beside him, useless. His hands wouldn't close. His legs wouldn't respond. The king of the gods, lying on the stone floor of a cave in Cilicia, unable to lift a single finger, while Typhon sealed his tendons in a bearskin and left a dragon named Delphine to guard the entrance. Then Typhon left, because he didn't need to kill Zeus. A dead king is forgotten. A paralyzed king lying broken in the dark is a message to all of creation that the old order was finished. Two gods came back, not the warriors, not Ares with his battle fury, not Apollo with his precision. Hermes, the cunning messenger, the trickster, the god who moved between worlds. And Pan, wild, unpredictable, ungovernable, slipped past Delphine while she was distracted. They found the bearskin. They recovered the tendons. And with shaking hands in the dark of that cave, they restored Zeus, piece by piece. The moment Zeus could move, something shifted, not just physically. The entire weight of the myth changed in that moment. Because this time Zeus did not descend from the sky. He rose above it. He took a chariot pulled by winged horses, climbed beyond anything Typhon could reach, and came down, like a verdict. The battle that followed is described in the ancient sources as the most violent event in the history of creation. Mountains dissolved in the heat. The sea boiled from horizon to horizon. The sky didn't crack, it bled light through fractures. Even Tartarus, the bottomless void at the base of all existence, glowed from the fire above it. Typhon fought back. He tore Mount Etna, the greatest mountain in the ancient Greek world, from its foundations, and hurled it at Zeus with all 100 arms. Zeus caught it and drove it straight back down, onto Typhon, into the earth, into the dark. Typhon didn't die. He can't. He is still down there. That is what the ancient Greeks believed every time Mount Etna erupted. Every time fire poured from that mountain in the night. That was Typhon, shifting, straining, still trying to get free. Here is what this myth is actually saying. Zeus didn't lose to Typhon because Typhon was stronger. Zeus lost because Typhon came from somewhere Zeus could never reach. From Gaia, from Tartarus, from the darkness that existed before creation had any rules. Before order, before the gods, before anything had decided what was possible. Typhon was not a threat to the gods. He was a reminder that beneath every ordered system, beneath every throne, every law, every structure civilization builds to make itself feel permanent, there is something older, something that was never defeated, only buried. Zeus didn't conquer chaos. He pressed it under a mountain and walked away. That is not a victory. That is a postponement. Typhon wasn't destroyed. He was buried. And his children, the Hydra, Cerberus, the Chimera, the Sphinx, every great monster that haunted Greek heroes from Heracles to Odysseus, traces directly back to him. The monster that nearly ended Olympus is still here, just wearing different faces. So here is the question I want your answer to in the comments. If order can only ever bury chaos and never truly defeat it, was Zeus ever really in control? Or was he always just one eruption away from losing everything again? Drop your answer below. The most compelling argument gets featured in the next video.